And so how that impacts on the state legislations, it just bulldozes it out of the way. It just says move, there's a clash. And so now we've got land councils like the Northern Territory Land Council and so forth starting to go, oh, hang on a minute, our Land Rights Act's not working anymore because native title has moved it out of the way. And what makes it even more worse is the Mining Act holds authority over the native title. So basically at the end of the day, the mining companies are running the country. These are the guys who hold the weight under legislation. They can move heritage listing out of the way, they can move state legislations of land rights acts away.
Implement the Northern Territory Intervention.
Yeah, that's it.
And the Recognise campaign, mining companies.
So that's basically how it works, and that's what Recognise is. And I want to have a break because I want to get to that secondly, because I just don't want to overload you with all this new information and then we're going into the new stuff. But maybe we'll just have a quick couple and 5-minute break. But that's just giving you an idea of what sovereignty looks like and how they're manoeuvring stuff across the line, and we're trying to pull from the 10 Embassy this way. And that's what's going on I suppose, visually, and then how it's been manifested is in legislations and so forth. And so it's very hard for us mob to catch up with, well, what are we doing? And I hear mob going, well, we signed something, we don't know. I'm forever telling them, well, stop signing stuff, like freeze. Everyone freeze. We need to actually freeze and see where we're at so we can evaluate what damage has been done. Because while we've only got this little bit of component of sovereignty left, we should all freeze and see if we can maybe hijack it a bit back to strengthen up a bit. But we really should be freezing. But recognition is basically like sign, seal, deliver, blood stamp that sits on the top and goes, it's over, you guys.
You need to recognise as a First Nations, and that's even being demonstrated now with the multicultural portfolio that Abbott has.
Yeah, and recognise, just quickly before I have a break, is being used under British law in the past for black slavery. When they actually bring a slave into the master's control, they bring him into recognisance. When a criminal owes the king a debt in the medieval times, he would go into recognisance, and then he would owe them constantly, and all his land, assets and properties would be seized. That is recognisance. So we'll have a break. I'm going to provide you the evidence of what I'm saying, which is on the second bit, and then that's pretty much it from there. Yeah, so let's have a cuppa, eh? To download the worksheet for Sovereignty and Recognition Part 3 A and B, please go to this website. This is what the government are saying, the difference between native title and land rights, which I've sort of explained it just visually by recapping on that. But they say there are fundamental differences between land rights and native title. First of all, state versus Commonwealth legislations. But they say land rights are created by the Australian state or territory governments, yeah? Land rights usually comprise of a grant of freehold or perpetual lease title to Indigenous Australians. Then they say, by contrast, native title arises as a result of recognition. Alright, so I just want to emphasise recognition. Native title arises as a result of recognition under Australian common law, of pre-existing Indigenous rights. So it's pre-existing, not current. So Indigenous rights was pre-existing up until recognition. That's native title. It takes out the sovereignty, as we've seen here. It usurps the sovereignty from our people's hands via recognition. Yep, it's like dissecting. Here's the sovereignty of this state here. And they take out one nation, start dissecting an animal, pulling it apart and leaving it. And in actual fact, like these, the recognised people, like Tom Karma, they go, well, it's still there. Sovereignty is still there. Well, yeah, we can see it's still here. But say if this is my recording device, it's still here. I could take it to the toilet, flush it down there and pull it back out and put it here. It won't work, but it's still there. That's what they are doing. That's what recognition does. It's sort of still there. You can see it's there, but it doesn't hold anything anymore. Yeah. So that's what recognition does. Here it is, the Land Administration Act. Yeah, here it is. Native title is the recognition. This is their formal definition of native title from the government. Native title is the recognition in Australian law. Under common law, the Native Title Act of Indigenous Australians' rights and interests in land and waters to their own traditional laws and customs. So the government take an interest in our traditional laws and customs. They have that interest. Now, if we have a look at the Land Administration Act 1997, in Part 9 it says, the government holds the compulsory land acquisition for lands that they have an interest in. They are taking the compulsory land acquisition of us, they take our nation out, they take it here, they hold it, the compulsory land acquisition, they hold the land tenure, and under recognisance, now this is a red alert on recognisance. Recognisance is binding under Westminster's law, can never be undone. It's not like we can go to court and go, oh, we made a mistake. Can't be undone. It's one law that can never be undone. Recognisance. Back in the day, they used to stamp it in the blood. It was signed and delivered. It was real blood they used. Put the circle in it, and you got the stamp. Recognisance. Finished. No more. So basically, they want our nations, they want to seal it in the blood, stamp it, can't be undone under their law ever again. Reconciliation, I just want to raise a red alert on reconciliation, because reconcile is normally, it's a legal accounting term. For example, if I run a small business and I want to reconcile my accounts, they wipe the debt free. So it's a financial debt-free terminology. And that's why reconciliation, because what happens, they're taking advantage of our Aboriginal English. And we go, oh, they just want to recognise us. Not understanding that the legal term is bondage, stamp, under, we can't do it. And then we're thinking, reconcile, we're going to be friends now. Under their terms, reconcile means to wipe debt. We don't owe you $1. We take the land and you don't get nothing. It's all debt-free, because we're going to give you our shirt, That's reconciliation. That's what they are on about. So we've got to be really mindful to pass information back to our people. Aboriginal English does not apply to the Constitution. Aboriginal English does not apply in Parliament House. We have to translate. It's another dialect we have to understand. We're always using dialects. Aboriginal English is actually its own dialect. We have to be very mindful to continually translate, and we have to educate our understanding of reconciliation, our understanding of recognition is a different dialect to the English law. It is completely foreign and different. Yeah.
So and even reconciliation is a legal terminology saying that when we reconcile with yous, they're wiping every debt that they've owed to us.
Yeah. And this is the Black Laws Dictionary. It means it analogues to condonation. Condonation is further explained as conditional remission, which protrudes to a release of debt. That's the Black Laws Dictionary. And reconciliation, now get this, was created by the Coalition, the Liberals, and Joe Hockey, who's now in finance, and Joe Hockey to release the Australian Government of any financial obligations. Of course it's Joe Hockey's gig. He's the guy who looked after money. So that's his thing. So he's released the government of any financial obligations to owe us for our land, for their structures on our lands, or even any compensation of damages they've done to our lands, or our waterways, or poisoning waters, or anything. They are released of that debt. And that's the fight. So reconciliation is about finance, yeah? It's a release, it's financially no money. And inside reconciliation was created, which belongs in human services. Think what's human services, the portfolio of human services, Parliament House, is Centrelink. So they're going to suck our sovereignty into Centrelink. Pleasant stuff. Yeah. So reconciliation inside of human services, right there with Centrelink, creates recognition, which will sign it within Centrelink. So when you see these campaigners for recognition and tell us that we can have our sovereignty, after recognition, yeah, we can look at it, but it means nothing. And what, we're going to line up at Centrelink and try and get sovereignty? Because that's basically where we're being sucked into in their system. It is basically, it's a dud. It's something that's not working. It's there, but it does not work anymore. And the flag will be, if they still raise the flag after recognition, it will be just a gesture of what was, but not actually what is. And that's the difference. So I want everyone to really get into their brain. Reconciliation is finance. Reconcile, it's to wipe your bank, it's to empty the account, it's to let it be, wipe it free. It's a business transaction. Recognition is permanently stamping it.
Land rights, land rights, land rights, land rights, land rights, land rights, land rights.
Baby smelling like fire, for the consciousness is a new designer. Let us see we need that for the dough we know.
There's one thing that keeps us bound together as Aboriginal people. That's our songwriting, that's our story, that's our dance, our music. All of these things make us one. And no matter what part of the country you are in, people can connect themselves to you through the songwriting. And for that, we have dance, song, music, story, that gives us our identification. It's already there. It's our religion, it's our belief, it's our creation. It makes us one. Many languages.
I want to say thank you to the leaders